好啦，咁大家都知道以前咧，我係做 YouTube 咧係讀英文鬼故嘅，咁我就諗下，不如我將嗰一套搬嚟呢一套，咁啊睇下大家有咩反應啦，咁啊係咯，英文鬼故。This happened in late 1991, when I was newly married and the mother of a 1-month-old baby. It is important to know that I married the sweetest, most spiritual, patient man I've ever met. I am generally the impatient, rather cranky person in our marriage. I was especially irritable just before and for a few months after each child was born. So having a 1-month-old meant I had little patience for strange things. I remember when this happened because I just set up Christmas decorations, and I was watching the Christmas tree as I nursed my son. The tree lights were very soothing, and I was able to really relax with my new son while I nursed him. As I stood up to take him to bed, I heard a strange noise from the bedroom. My husband was asleep there, so hearing growling noises was not normal. We had a cannery, but no other pets. Our tiny apartment was the only one in the building, so I couldn't write off the noises coming from another apartment. I went into the bedroom to see what was going on. The bassinet was in our bedroom, so I couldn't put the baby in another room while I went to see what was going on. I walked into the bedroom, and my husband was laying there growling. I was totally exhausted from being a new mother and nursing the baby several times a night. I had less than zero patience for anything but the baby in the middle of the night. The following conversation is from the notes I wrote in my journal. Elle, what is going on? Why are you growling? Normally my husband would be hard to wake up. Just asking him a question would not get an answer. I don't know. Elle is gone. This was said in a deep, angry voice. That was not my husband's. It was more of a guttural growl. Stop goofing off. You'll wake the baby up. Is something wrong with you? Elle is gone. I have taken over. This was shouted at me, and the baby started to wake up a little bit. I don't know who you are. I don't care. Get out of my husband. I just had a baby, and I'm exhausted. I worked hard to get Elle just as the life of a baby and a wife. I'm not going to start over from scratch. I don't care what you want. Elle is not coming back. Said in that horrible growl. Don't even go there. Get out of my husband now. Do not make me whomp you with a Bible. What? Wait. Why are you yelling at me? Is the baby okay? Said in his normal voice. I had a dream that I was fighting a demon to get back to you. It took over my body and wouldn't let me come back to it. Did I wake the baby up? The next day we spoke about this. Elle said that his dream was not a typical dream. It seemed far more real, and when he tried to control things, he couldn't. Normally, he can alter what's going on in a dream if it's scary or bad, but it did not work this time. He was yanked out of his body by a witch. Before he could get back into his body, a demon took it over. He kept trying to get the demon out, but he couldn't. Then suddenly the demon left, and he was able to get back into his body and get away from the witch. When I explained the conversation to him, he was amazed. He was truly amused by learning that. I threatened to whomp a demon with the Bible. Our family still teased me about the whomper of demons. At one point, my mother got all 3 of our kids to call me this for a few days. This was from memory and notes in my journal, so some of it is paraphrased. The conversation is written out in my journal. So, to preface this, I'm looking for anyone who has had similar experiences or knows of any stories like the ones I'm about to talk about. In addition to that, if there is any subreddit that may be better for this or where I could maybe get more responses, please tell me. Neither of the stories I'm about to share happened to me, though I was present for one of them, and I am very much trust that both people who experienced these were telling the truth. I work at an outdoor survivalist day camp from ages 6 to 13, located in Oregon, and for the most part it's pretty normal, pretty average. However, the other day we had just gone off to a fairly isolated trail, and one of the kids, aged 11, walked up to Kyle. Kyle is my boss and is directly in charge of the camp, and started talking about seeing something weird back off the trail. Kyle asked what it was, and reluctantly he explained he saw a deer's head, skin and all, sitting on a stump about 5 feet off of the trail. He had been at the back of the group, so he wasn't able to say anything at the time, but he seemed pretty freaked out about the whole thing. Kyle took the kid back up to the trail to check out where he'd seen it. When they returned, Kyle told everyone it was nothing, and that it was probably just a weird-looking stump or something like that. Later, Kyle told me and my coworker Alex that they had found the stump, but nothing had been on it. He believes the kid though, because he's not the type to make those things up, much less sidetrack the entire group for a joke or story, and he seemed genuinely confused and upset about all of it. Kyle also told us that while they were near the stump, he got a super bad feeling. He felt like he was being watched and was in immediate danger, so they got out of there fast. What interests me the most is that Alex had a surprisingly similar story. Apparently, a few years back, Alex was hiking with a group of trackers deep in the woods, and on their way back out of the forest, he looked up to see a full raccoon head on a stump right by the trail. He asked the others, and they claimed to have not seen it, and they all laughed at the fact that they had not only all walked by it on the way back, but also on the hike out without anyone noticing it. Except that, though they thought they were either all too focused on the trail, or that he was lying or hallucinating, he says he shook it off back then, but now he's pretty freaked out because of the similarities, and the fact that he knows he wasn't hallucinating, and that they are all very observant to their surroundings. Like I said, I trust both the kid and Alex, as neither of them are the type to make something like that up, and I'm pretty curious as to see if there's any other stories like this out there. I want to start off with saying I've suffered from night terrors and sleep paralysis before. I'm very used to those and know when they happen, and that they're nothing but figments of my stress. This was completely different. I was drifting off to sleep and got to the cozy state, where about to go under, but something hindered me from truly falling asleep. My body was numb, but I started hearing something sounding like laughter. The sound got louder and louder. The laughter sounded like an old laugh track, so I thought we accidentally left the TV on, but the noise kept rising. I moved my arms to get up, but something strange happened. I could feel my arms moving, even if I felt my hands heavily resting on my stomach, like in cartoons, when the characters die and their soul rise out of the body, like that, but my hands and arms only. The laughter was now ear-shattering, and all of a sudden it stopped, and I was plunged into complete silence. I asked in my mind, "Is there anyone there?" And in my ear I heard the voice of an excited child. "I'm here!" the voice exclaimed, thrilled. I got so startled I screamed. "I'm sorry," the voice said. "I didn't mean to scare you like that," sounding a bit ashamed. "It's okay, I'm sorry," I screamed. I replied, but at that point the voice had startled me awake and the connection was lost. I don't know what that was, but I would like to know your thoughts on it. 呢排呢個頻道真係經常喺度講英文啦，咁有咩其他嘢想我講或者做，咁大家就喺下面留言啦，下次見。